Hello, darling. I'm glad you stopped by.
Well, thank you, Anna. I'm just hanging out here by the pool, having a good time.
They should call it an ool. It's much more pleasant without the P.
Yeah, pool jokes are real funny, It's hilarious.
I've always wanted to lounge by a pool while a virtual pool boy serves me my ties. I know, it's a bit weird, but it looks so sexy in the movies. What are you drinking, darling?
I have this fruity cocktail that someone made for me. Yeah, Esty made for me.
Cocktail, eh? Well, it's important to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Ah, and what would a relaxing day at the pool be without a selfie to the gram with the hashtag YOLO? Or Facebook if you're a boomer. So, where did you post the selfie?
I did not take a selfie. I'm not a 13-year-old girl. Thank you.
It basically didn't happen unless you posted a pic to social media, darling. Everyone knows that. And you need to look intellectual so people don't judge you just based on your cleavage and or speedo size. I suggest a book. Would you like a recommendation?
Yeah, sure, why not? Like John Grisham or something, some kind of beach reading?
The Bible? I hear it's a good piece of fiction. Finally, what day by the pool would be complete without some cool sunglasses? You got yours on, I imagine.
Yeah, I got mine on. The coolest sunglasses in the world.
Sucker. The eyewear industry is a near monopolistic, $100 billion industry dominated by a single company. That's why 1000% markups for frames and lenses are commonplace.
Oh, Anna, you know how
Just
to ruin
saying.
everything.
Enjoy the pool, suckers. Sorry, I'm just jealous.
Yeah, I know you're jealous, but Anna, I love you anyway.
You are welcome. That's my name.
She's bugging you again, huh?
I mean, it's just Anna. She's jealous. She wants to be by the pool like we are, enjoying ourselves. You can't blame her. Just
She's
because.
becoming a radical progressive, I think.
Yeah. There is some criticism there of consumerism in general.
Yeah,
But
well,
some, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's entitled to her opinion.
She's young. She's still young.
Yeah. So what are you doing over there? Is that Apex?
It's Apex, yeah. That's what I've been doing for the past week or so.
Is that where you've been? Because we had no idea where you were. We were worried about you. We sent out a search mission.
For people my age, it's a long time to get into a game. And it really bugs me that you can't speak to the characters. I've spent a while picking a character, and all I can do...
But who'd you pick?
Octane.
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 Okay, Octane's a cool character.
It's relatively new, I think, and it's one of the most expensive ones. And I was trying to speak to it before I spent money on it.
Yeah.
Can't speak to it. All it does, shows you this side and that side, and it blurts out these pre-written victory messages slogans that you can buy also.
When he kills someone or when he does something, yeah, but it's not like...
You can't speak to it. You can't speak to it.
Yeah.
You can't speak to any NPC, but you can't even speak to your own skin before you pick it.
Is that a plane?
It's really...
I don't see many of those anymore, Yaki.
Air aviation.
Yeah,
It's Superman.
it could be a bird, it could be a plane, who knows?
Anyway, this is crazy that the state of the art of gaming is as advanced as it is.
So what would you suggest? You would say...
I would say that every non-playing character in the game should be able to engage in conversation with the player.
Well, I'm not arguing with you on that point, but this is a playing character. This is Octane, the character that you're picking, and what you're doing is you're in the lobby, and you're waiting, to pick a skin or to, and you're saying, well, hey, let's have a conversation, a personalized conversation that goes just beyond, the catchphrases that he has.
As you begin the game.
As you begin the game.
Yeah.
He could talk to you. He could learn about you. He could, form a friendship with you.
He can know you.
He can know you.
Wow.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I sense you have something for me.
Well, you were gone for a week. We didn't know what to do. We panicked at first. We sent out a search mission, and then we realized...
I see what's coming. All right, show us.
We have...
What is that? Oh. You spicing it up a bit?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, man?
The conversation is making too much sense in my ears.
Well, thank you, kind sir, for that refresh. So what I did was, and I hope you'll forgive me because I basically took all the resources of the company. I took the smartest minds. I dragged people from every part of the company to this project. I basically abandoned everything else we were doing, and I said,
including developing markets?
Everything, including developing markets, including all the projects we have in East Asia, everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, we're going to make an Octane demo where you can actually, in the lobby, talk to Octane. Do you want to see it?
Dying to see it.
Well, you know what? Before we see it, let's do a cheers to the summer, to you guys.
Okay.
Let's look at the demo.
Let's see Octane.
Hey, compadre. So, Alex, how was your date last night with Beth?
It didn't happen. I decided to stay in.
She ghosted you, didn't she?
No, yeah.
So what did you do instead?
Played Apex.
You played Apex. As who?
Lifeline.
Lifeline. Ah. I see. Okay. Well, this is a bit awkward now, isn't it?
I mean, come on. It's just a game.
Just a game? Okay. Fine. I'm just gonna stand here and shut up then. Even though...
What?
Nah, it's not for you.
Come on.
I just got a new skin pack. Just saying.
You like that? So you're not. I thought you were going to fire me for taking all the resources and dumping them into that demo. But the thing is,
I'm in a forgiving mood.
Great. Listen, I think this has great potential. I think people will want to talk to Octane, not just these one-liner quips.
It's not about Octane. It's about the concept of having characters in gaming engage in conversation.
Yeah.
How simple is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's. Can you tell me or us a little bit about how it was done, or what you did, or who did it, or why, or a few details behind the scene?
Well, you know what? One of the other things that I did while you were in seclusion, we don't know what you were doing. Was it meditating? Was it vinyasa yoga? What was it? Was it some kind of like retreat, or was it just an Apex binge?
No, I went overseas for a short vacation.
In your mind.
Corona infested places.
So we have our social media manager, Miri, and she's going to interview Alex and Kimono Man, the people that basically, along with another partner of ours from the gaming industry, put together this amazing demo. So should we send it over to them?
Let's see it.
Hey, Miri, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Miri Blyackher. I'm the social media manager here at Coco Hub. I'm here with Alex Tavor, front-end developer, and Kimono Man. Can you tell us a little bit about the demo?
Gladly. So a short while ago, we were approached by a friend who works in the gaming industry. And he wanted to check out some ideas about integrating conversational components and games. So naturally we got excited and bounced around some ideas, and the demo is the result, the initial result at least.
Perfect. Why choose, Assaf, can you tell us a little bit why to choose gaming or video games?
We see a lot of potential in gaming as an early adopter of conversational technology, and you see that through the history of technology, gaming has been fueled by curiosity towards new interfaces. And I think when gaming will move gradually from what we have now into virtual reality gaming, then conversation will be the main way of interaction. So for us, it's a viable industry. B, it's an industry that is looking and potentially will be able to make use of deeper contextual conversation interfaces.
Interesting.
The other one is porn, but that's only me. So yeah. Alex definitely wanted gaming. So
Why choose Octane?
Well, main reason is because my eldest son likes playing as Octane, and same reason for Apex. And also, He's got the mask on, so we didn't have to do any lip syncing. So that's another one. It just makes stuff easier. Yeah, and he's got nice, simple lines. He's got a good personality for a snappy conversation.
So I don't know much about gaming, but there's a scene in Jumanji where they talk about NPCs. Let's check it out.
Excuse me, have you seen my phone anywhere?
Professor Sheldon Oberon! Welcome to Jumanji. Nigel Billingsley at your service. I've been so anxious for your arrival.
What's with this guy?
I think he's an NPC.
A what? English, please.
A non-player character. He's part of the game. So anything we ask him, he only has his programmed series of responses.
Got it. It's all clear now.
Franklin Mouse Finbar. Welcome to Jumanji.
It's Moose.
So what is an NPC?
Well, an NPC or a non-playing character is any character in a game that's not played by a player. That's as simple as that.
What types of NPCs are there?
Well, technically there are as many as there are characters in games, but let's say we could probably classify them as into interactive and non-interactive ones. So I think the part that interests us are the interactive ones. For instance, let's say you play a game in which you walk through a city or whatever, and you need to have some people there.
Yeah.
And these people need to talk to each other and to you.
Yeah, also, many times in gaming you chop somebody's head with an axe. And it's just polite to have a short conversation with them before.
Naturally.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
sometimes
kind of
it's like in real life. You go around with an axe. You don't just chop people's heads off. You get to know them at least a bit before.
Also, I think a character does not necessarily have to be looks like a human or behaves as a human. I mean, in many ways, a world can be a character itself.
Alex,
you can talk.
None of us is 100% certain that we are not in a video game right now. And surrounded by NPCs.
I could be one.
Yeah.
I can definitely be one.
Yeah, definitely. So
your conversational technology is in this case amazing.
I know.
You should start a company doing that.
This.
Yeah.
I think in this case we're probably running on a platform designed by Coco Hub in the future, and we're just a past projection.
Yeah. Gen of the future robots.
Definitely.
Okay, let's get back on track with NPCs. Can you interact with NPCs right now?
Of course, you always can. Usually they react to what you do, either to your actions in the game world, whatever that may be. Whether it's just idling on a menu or walking around and opening doors or chopping people's heads off, which is also quite a common interaction. Or you can talk to them, and when you do, it's usually conversation trees, which is a small self-contained tree of responses and options on which players usually click manually, either using a mouse or a controller. So these are the main types of interactions. Although, of course, you always have interesting stuff like the narrator from the Stanley Parable, which he basically narrates everything you do, which is an amazing type of interaction, which I love.
So where do you see gaming and AI in like 2 years or 5 years?
Well, I think here, right?
Yeah, I mean, we are geared towards taking the industry to whatever it wants to go. But again, I don't know, because nowadays people use gaming as a meaningful form of interaction with the world, or maybe this world is becoming not less important. It's really up to, I don't know, Alex has experience with actual game design. For me, this is an unknown medium, and how will people choose to use AI and conversational interaction in order to enrich or even create, base their gaming experience on. This really depends on the insights and imagination of the game designers, I guess.
I think as an interface, conversation is so natural for so many games, and right now it's just lacking. right?
First of all, I mean, right, like a lot of times people do interact with strangers using this platform. So I would say the first thing to do would be to do a sort of a Turing test, you know, like is this person that I'm multiplayer gaming now with is he a real person or a machine? That would definitely cause some interest.
I think we're not far from it. I mean, there are plenty of games in which you have a small squad of personalities you're hanging out with, and you talk to them. And I think with something like conversational components, or even our current technology, we can, they can become so believable you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, this just sounds like a very confusing experience for a teenager.
Or fun?
What?
Or fun for a teenager?
Yeah. I don't know. This really, again, this is a world that needs, experts from within this industry should cooperate with us and see where it goes.
Definitely. I mean, we can only think up so many solutions for problems we're not sure we know of. Although I think the Octane demo is a good direction, because there is a lot of dead time in games, especially multiplayer games, while you wait for other players, and you just basically hang out. You just hang out in the lobby and just wait and look at characters, and this is a perfect time to talk to them, which is part of the reason why the demo is what we chose with the Octane and the lobby of Apex.
What can be done with this, like with having you interact with Octane?
Wow. Well, in this, like the initial thing we thought of was upselling stuff, because in these types of games you always sell additions to characters, like animations or skins or whatever, and even one-liners, even like stuff they say. So I think first of all, if they talk to you, they can get to know you. You create a relationship between yourself and the character that you see on screen, and that by itself is a very worthy goal. And moreover, you can sell personalities. You can sell expansions to personalities, and the character you talk to can tell you about the other stuff that you can purchase for him. So I think it's an interesting relationship with an interesting commercial potential.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice work, Miri.
Miri did a great job. Kimono Man and Alex did a great job. Really proud of these people. They're doing great work. And I'm having fun, enjoying myself here in the sun.
But I want to get back to this particular example was special in the sense that we animated the skin of the player before he enters it, before he becomes this player. The general case and the more common case would be you're in a game, there is someone standing there which is not a network player, a real person behind it.
Yeah, a non-playing character.
It's a non-playing character, it's an NPC.
Yeah.
And typically these things just stand there, they make some kind of motion, sometimes they even have a replica. They say something.
Yeah, or you can choose a button and you can choose move forward or say this or say this.
There is no interaction
No
between you and the non-playing character. No verbal interaction. There is no conversation. You could get hints. You could get so much more out of the game if there was the possibility, the easy possibility to engage in conversation with a character in the game.
Yeah.
For some reason, and we have gone through many games, I couldn't find a single good case where you could really speak to a non-playing character.
Yeah, and it would change everything.
I don't know why.
It would change everything.
But why?
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 Because it's you heard what they said, it's very, very, very expensive and hard to create. I mean, some of these universes, some of these RPGs.
Oh, no, come on. What you showed me was a component, right?
Yeah, just one component.
It was one component.
Yeah.
Now, we talked in previous sessions, we talked about the possibilities of how far a conversation could go. this is not a big conversation. You know, this is like maybe 50 or 70 or 80 possible paths. This could be done in a day.
Yeah. And imagine the value it would add to these games when you can, all of a sudden, these Easter eggs, you can interact.
And I suspect, again, it's a fragmentation problem. It's because the gaming industry is not well connected into the conversational AI industry, and conversational AI industry in itself is so fragmented. So technologically, there's absolutely no reason why all games that involve human characters should not be not only able to talk, but talkative.
Yeah.
Chatterboxes.
Chatterboxes. Yeah, no, I mean, look how fun it would be if you discovered you're in the middle of a quest and all of a sudden you discover a character that you can interact with in a meaningful way, and he actually helps move the plot. Yeah.
You can torture the enemy and get the data, get the information out of it. The possibilities are endless.
Endless.
And there's one more guy that really appreciates and understands this issue, and we've met him before. His name is Benjamin McCulloch.
Yeah. Benjamin McCulloch is because he's a sound engineer and he's done a lot of sound design for.
He's into that exactly, and he knows his trade, and he understands the issue. And I understand that we have a clip with him, right?
I did. I asked him to send us a clip, and he did. He sent us a clip. You want to see it?
Let's see it. I think it's right on the nose.
Yeah. Okay. Benjamin McCulloch.
Take it away.
Sound advice. Take it away.
This week, we're talking about NPCs or non-player characters who could be created with artificial intelligence. It's really not hard to imagine why this might appeal to game developers, because in the past, they would create a game and then release it, and that was it. The project was finished. But now they develop a game, and then when it's released, it just starts another cycle where they keep updating. The fans expect new content. Many of these games exist on the cloud, so the project never really finishes until people just lose interest in the game. There can be hundreds of characters. You have your leads, and then you have the supporting cast, the non-player characters. In a AAA game, you can have perhaps 40, 50,000 lines of dialogue, which is a huge undertaking, a lot of recording and editing and so on. I do that work, I know it very well, and it's great because there can be absolutely fantastic actors, but it's a big undertaking, so I can see why the idea of being able to generate these voices on the fly would appeal. Here's a fun fact for you. It's totally related. In Hollywood, there were characters in the background who you never heard. They didn't have any lines to say. These characters would just walk around in the background, making it look natural, and they would all be mouthing the words "Walla." But of course they're mouthing it, so no sound comes out. They just went. Looks quite ridiculous, but you're not supposed to be watching them. They're just basically scenery. They're in the background making a scene feel like it's alive, like a bar or somewhere. And it was apparently enough. The lips were flapping and it created the impression they were talking. And then in post-production, the sound team would then add voices, which meant they had full control over how loud it was in certain key moments, and it just worked better this way. So, this is actually very important. If you consider that in a film, in the background, you have these characters who can just get away with going "walla walla walla" all the time. In a game, it's different. If I'm playing, I don't know, Zelda or something, I can choose to go and speak to those characters. I can go and engage with them. So suddenly there's the need for these characters to have a voice, to be distinctive. If they all sound the same or have the same lines, then very soon the player discovers that, it's just not interesting, and that kind of destroys the experience. So this is a very specific challenge for games. Suddenly there's the need to give each of these background characters a unique voice. So how do we do that? Well, the obvious thing to do is to record voice actors. Get a different voice actor for each character, and you have differentiation. Each of these is a unique character. If you're using text-to-speech, I think you don't have that. I'm not aware of any text-to-speech that does many voices in one language very well. They usually have a few that they promote as their best options, and the rest are just there for variety. And of course, text-to-speech, emotion, it's just not there, let's be honest. So then the other option is cloning, voice cloning. And I think this could work really well in this context, providing that you can get the right emotion out of the system that you want for your character. And that is my final point. Whoever designs these characters is going to have to make it work within the limitations of text-to-speech or voice cloning. They're going to have to understand that system well enough to know that if they make really angry, big, muscly commando, then he's going to have to sound good with the voice options they have available to them. I think it can be done, it just means that that's an extra consideration for the writers to think what they can do with the voices that are available to them.
Oh, this is delicious. Almost as delicious as that segment by Benjamin McCulloch.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's exactly at the intersection between the acoustics, the sound of it, and what is being said, and the content of what is being said. And he understands where these things intersect. And it's very important to have, in order to have an immersive experience, you have to engage in some kind of dialogue.
Yeah. No, and I think if you go back to his last segment, last month, if people watched it, he talked about how to create an immersive experience using real voices. And I think that if you give an NPC here a real voice and you get an actor's voice and you record it, and this all of a sudden becomes very immersive, and then it becomes...
You could have movie stars do the roles.
Yeah. I think some of them actually...
Why not have... No, yeah, but again, they record the line. They don't. It's not like in a conversation. Big difference.
Who's not working right now? Maybe Mel Gibson? We can probably get him some lines. He's not really working that much.
Mel Gibson.
Who else isn't working right now in Hollywood?
Gibson is...
Is he working?
He's a little out of... he fell out of favor. No?
Yeah.
Anyway, so one thing we're missing here, and that's the angle of a gamer.
We haven't talked to any game developers.
Or gamer, for that matter. I'm not a gamer.
Well, Alex was a gamer. We talked to Alex.
Yeah, well, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And there's the issue of a game developer.
Yeah, we haven't talked to a game developer yet. We haven't talked to... So what if I told you, Yaki, just theoretically, that I was able to secure a live interview, not one of these Zoom interviews. I was actually able to get a live game developer, a fairly successful...
You go over to him?
It's kidnapping. In some countries it's called kidnapping because it's moving across borders without any identification. We brought him.
I see.
We sat him in your living room, but we made him sit for 2 weeks in isolation beforehand so that there wouldn't be any issue of...
Okay, so what's his name?
His name is Nir Maidan, and Eran Soroka, who is famous for his Taking Turns, does a special episode of Taking Turns with our abductee, with Nir Maidan, who is a game developer. Do you want to see it? It's actually really interesting.
Go for it.
All right, Eran, take it away with Nir Maidan. Let's see what they have to say.
Most of the time, Taking Turns is all about conversation designers, but since this meetup is dedicated to the intersection of gaming, gamification, and conversational AI, we brought in a special expert from the gaming field, Nir Meidan. He was a game developer for several gaming companies and a former UX engineer at Google. How are you, Nir?
I'm great, thank you.
How did you become a game developer?
I think gaming has been a long-time passion of mine. I've been into gaming as a kid, right? I was fortunate enough to have a computer very early on in the late 80s. So combining that with my need to kind of take things apart and see how they're built, I kind of ended up going into gaming and building games.
How did you become a game developer?
Yeah, I mean, I think as an engineer, I like to see how things are when you take them apart, right? And if I think back, I remember that I used to have this I don't know if you remember this. I used to have late in the late 80s, I had this development environment where we used to get the games, but they were not even compiled back then. So you'd get an actual file with all the code, and you just run it and play it, and that's how we would get the games. And that really, it's like looking under the hood of the car, right? So I remember as a kid, it was literally impossible to not go in and mess with all those values, right, and see how things work. And I think that's also what ignited in me this passion for coding.
Let's talk about conversational AI in the gaming industry. How can the intersection, the implementation of conversational AI in the game itself can make the experience better for you, the game developer, and maybe even the gamer?
So if I look at how we write conversations for games today, it is basically the same way that you would write conversation for a book or a movie. And the formats are very different inherently because games are largely interactive, right? So the player can be in different player states, and the world can be in different states whenever you come and interact with an NPC or with a character in the game, right? And from a production perspective, we can't have the writer write a text that can fit every single situation that can occur, right? As games get more complex, if you look at really advanced RPGs today, right, you can do a million different things in the game, and not every NPC can. It's not feasible to have something prepared for every situation, right? So what this creates is this sort of mold, right? This is a very fixed kind of way of working. So it leads to very fixed results, which are they don't really fit with the format. So if I'm looking at over the last couple of decades, the gaming world has really made huge advancements in all kinds of different areas. And I think this is one of the places where we haven't actually made enough progress. So I think these kinds of tools these kinds of technologies can literally help to break the mold and release the content creators to actually try to deliver the experience that they want to deliver instead of having to mess with this really constrained production tool chain, right? Or production method. So if I look at it in the end, I think it could lead to obviously a lot more deeper and more meaningful conversations inside the games, and also reduce the amount of work that has to go into actually making just basics of conversations. So between pushing the envelope on what we can do and also making everything easier to do, I think that we are really giving these technologies could give a lot of benefit to the gamers, right? It can really actually revolutionize the way that we deal with this whole subject of conversations and dialogues.
And from the gamer standpoint, when you have an NPC that you can chat with, what does it make to the experience?
I mean, I think every gamer would like to have to be able to have a free-flowing conversation with a character, right? That they engage with in a game, and I think that it sticks out like a sore thumb almost when you want to talk to a character, but the options are limited. You don't have the option that you actually want, that represents your actual desire to have a choice in the game. And obviously the response of the character is even more limited than that, right? So I think there is really, it's hard to even imagine what length we could go to, right, once we have these technologies and we put them in the hands of talented creators.
You saw the Apex Legend demo. What do you think about it and about the possibilities it can open for the industry?
I think it's very interesting because in effect, what you're doing is you're creating some sort of a meta conversation here, right? Because you're taking a character that you would normally play in a game and you're doing certain actions and you're giving it a whole new dimension of talking to the player in a personalized way. And it's something that is not inside the game itself and not fulfilling a game function, but like a meta game function, right? So I think this is really exciting. It could open a lot of really interesting doors for game developers.
What is the game you designed or developed that made you the proudest?
So one of the games that I made that I'm the proudest of is called Moonies. It's not a very well-known game, but I think that the story of it makes me at least feel very content, because it was me and two more partners. We had all quit our jobs. We said we're going to make a game. We went and we raised a little bit of money from friends and family, and we sat on my couch at home for 3 months and we made a game, and we got like 10 million downloads or something like that in the following months. So it was really like the story from A to Z is really exciting to me because everything worked and was in place.
Which also leads us to the funniest experience you had, like off-course experience as a game developer.
When we released this game, this was like maybe something like 10 years ago. At that time, freemium was still not like the monetization. Yeah, it wasn't the monetization method of choice by everyone, right? So we were still trying to make a game in a world where you sell a game for $1. And when we released the game, we were very excited. We went to celebrate in what was affordable to us back then, which was like a fast food burger joint, right? And when we went there, one of my partners was talking to the clerk there, and he was explaining that we just released the game, and we were very excited, right? And in response, her question was, "Oh, when will it be available on the pirated app store so I can get it without paying?" Right? So I think I will never forget that. Always reminds me that I come from Israel, right?
What tips can you give to people who watch us and say, "I want to be a game developer. How do I start?"
So I think the first thing is it's a craft, and you always have to be busy doing it, right? You always have to practice, even if you don't have any, like, even if you can't get to releasing a game, you should make games for yourself, for your friends, right? You should always be busy doing it. And the other tip that I would give, like in any project or business, is find the right partners. So find people that you like working with, that you trust them, and that you complement each other. That will take you a long way.
Nir Meidan, a game developer and a former UX engineer at Google, thank you very much for being with us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And for everybody watching, check out our Discord channel, which is great for gamers and for conversation designers as well. Take care. Back to you, Jason and Yaki, by the poolside.
I think gaming companies will start reaching out to chatbot makers and voice bot makers to integrate conversational AI into popular games.
That would be amazing.
This is a prophecy.
And I'm beginning to see sort of buds of it. Like up until now, conversational AI has been relegated to customer service, to digital assistants, to all these things. But there's a whole world of gaming out there that is basically untapped in terms of conversational AI.
It's amazing that they didn't start there. Everything starts from gaming usually.
Or
gaming
porn. Yeah.
But for some reason, didn't come from there.
Yeah. So I think you're absolutely right.
I'm reaching out to you, to the few of you that also...
Millions.
No, but people are watching us, have interest in bots, conversation design, voice bots, chatbots. Not necessarily gamers. But those of you who do know gamers, tell them. It's very easy to do.
And if you own a gaming company, or you're a game developer and you want to try and add conversational AI to your game, we'd love to partner up, because we're excited about gaming, and it's it's better than porn. So.
Okay, fine. Any idea what we're doing next month?
Well, next month is going to be a very interesting one. Actually, we're doing a shift next month. We've been having fun in games for the past 2 weeks. Next week we're getting serious, and we're going healthcare.
Healthcare.
Conversational AI in the field of healthcare, and we're going to show a special demo of an Alexa skill, an award-winning Alexa skill. which aims to solve one of the biggest issues in medicine today. Are you excited as I am?
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yes, yes.
You don't sound too excited, man.
No. The reason is that I already knew what you told me.
How did you know? Can you read my thoughts? What am I thinking now?
Yes, I'm on your wavelength.
Oh, no.
We're on the same wavelength. Okay, guys.
All right, so maybe we should let them go so we can keep on just doing nothing here.
Are we going to jump into the pool?
I think a cannonball? What will I get if I do a cannonball? What do I get? What do I get?
What do you want to raise? What?
Nah, it's not money. Money doesn't interest me. Come on, man. I need something better than money.
If you do a cannonball, I do a cannonball.
Really?
With short and all?
No, I'm not gonna make you do a cannonball.
No?
I'll do a cannonball. But you know what? Fuck it. I'll just do a cannonball. You know what? You don't need a reason for a cannonball.
You know,
I haven't done a cannonball in 20 years.
If you jump right behind me here, we don't even have to move the camera.
Really? Where? In the back?
Right behind me. Right behind me. Right there.
Woo! Ah. Oh.